Hi, Internet viewers. This is Frank Rauscher. We're going to proceed on doing the painting of the wren. But before we really get going, I just want to show you how this should look. See how the ghosting of the wood burning underneath shows? That's really very helpful for most of the body, okay? The wings and the tail feathers, we're going to put actual markings in, but these up here will be very showy as far as when we put some washes over top of it. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to put markings that are always on the wren as part of the character of the feathers. So bear with me. I'm going to move the camera down and you'll be able to see how I do it and what paints I use, okay? So I'll be right with you. Bear with me here. Okay, we're back again. I'm trying to indicate to you that what I'm using on this markings on the wren, I'm going to use Liquitex again, but like I said, any acrylic paint will do. I'm going to use ivory black, but any black you have should do it, okay? I'm going to get about, I'm going to put maybe a quarter of a size of a pea in here. At least I'm going to try. There we go. And then I got a brush. This one here is a number 3. It's a real good one. It really holds its point. And I would recommend you having a brush that really has a nice point to it because we're going to be doing some real fine work here. And the other thing, I'm going to fill this up about, not even, maybe a quarter of the way up. Okay, and I'm going to mix this pretty good. I want to get all of that black mixed in there. Okay. And you really want to stir this so it's really dissolved into the water. So you have a real nice mix. And in some cases where I need a heavy mix, you know what I may do is take a little bit of this after I get this thing going here. Let me stir this up and I'll show you. I'm going to try to dissolve as much as I have in there, but there may be more than what I need. So I'm going to get the heavy stuff out of there, if I could possibly do that, and put that over another cup here, like so. Still have it heavy in there. Maybe what I'll do is, this is more watery than that. I'll leave that as the heavier one. And what I want to do, on the last episode where I primed the bird with the titanium white, one thing I always want to try to get you to understand, don't ever leave your brushes just lay there. I mean, it's when you're painting, yeah, lay it there, but when you're done, rinse it out in water, get all the paint out, and then run it through a paper towel like this, and it'll come back to a point. Now, this is an older brush that just lost its point, but this brush here is, you can see it bounces right back into a point. So sometimes after you use brushes for a while, it loses its point, and I use the point a lot. Now, the other thing that you don't see me is I'm going to get this optivisor here, which is a magnifier, and I use this a lot because it guides me into what I can't really see, and it gives me a chance to get things in the proper location rather than me guessing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one side of the markings here on each one and the wings, and I'll do the back too. And what I want you to do is to come in, load up your brush with the paint. Now, I hope I mixed this correctly. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put barring in. I'm going to show you from an example of a bird I'd done before. There's barring that goes all throughout here. So I want to show you how to do that. And I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to start from the bottom of the feather and come up a little bit. And I'm going to sort of, hope you can see this well. Okay, I'm going to go with the heavier stuff. I thought that's what I did. So I'm using the heavier paint. This is too watered down. And I'm trying to get this, maybe, I got to get it. And what I'm doing is dragging the brush along the cup. So it's sort of going in there, but I need to get this heavier than you see it going on right now. So I think what I may have done is add too much water to the mix. So I'm going to stir this up and see if I can get like a concentrate, but I don't want it right like out of a tube. So I'm going to come in here again. There we go. And I came up maybe a little more than a 1/16, and then did something that's almost not quite 1/8 of an inch wide. And then I'm going to come up again, and I'm making another one of those across here. It's like a little arc that comes through, and I'm just doing this per that one feather right on top. I hope you can see that clearly. And if the paint's not, sometimes you got to get the right mix. And if it's too watery, you're not going to get any paint coming. And I don't want it real dark. At the same time, this seems to be working okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the next feather down. I'm coming up the same distance. And I'm making this arc across. And I'm trying to keep the same thickness as what I have there. Now, let me see. I should have been maybe not as much water, and I would have gotten this a little darker. That's about where you want to be. Okay, now, because this feather is on top of this feather, I'm only doing that portion that would look like it's sticking out. So I'm coming up the same distance as I did on the other one over here. Boy, I really did. I think what I'm going to do is get some paint on the top of the tray here and keep it a little more solid so it comes out a little heavier than I have it now. And I'm just coming out that far. Then I come up here. And the trick of getting the right mix, that's the thing. So you're not like jet black all the way through. And if we're too light, we can always come back and, darken it again. Now, I'm going to come down to the next one. That's the first feather is the second feather. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do the exact same distance up from the back. And the same width. Hope you can see this clearly. And I think I can get one that looks like it's projecting across like so. Yeah. Okay. I'm keeping equal spacing on the feather I'm doing, or at least trying to anyway. If you get a little out of control, what I did is I saved some white from the priming, and I can go back in a little later after this dries and put some white in there if I don't get it 100% right. So I'm coming in here. Here, and now I'm going back a little bit because the paint is starting to flow. So you can see I'm getting it a little bit darker. And you're using the tip of the brush, and that's the markings you're trying to get. Now, I think I probably just added too much water to the mix at the time. So I would even use, I used a quarter of the cup. I would use maybe half of that. So it's a little bit of water. Now I'm coming down to the fourth feather, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm coming across here, same distance up from the bottom, and you're doing each feather individually. And then I'm spacing it. And you don't have to match what the last feathers ended at. That's not the case. You're just looking at each individual feather and the spacing between it. You know, the last marking you did, and not trying to match the feather above it. That's only by accident if it happens to go that way. And I'm not loading, I don't want to get too much water in it. And that's my problem from the get-go, is you got to play with this to get the right mix. Okay, now I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this grouping coming down, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 feathers coming down. I'm trying to keep the same spacing, but I'm only doing like half the feather because you got to imagine the other feathers underneath. So I come up from the tail and I'm mimicking what would look like it sticks out. There's one. I'm keeping the same spacing between the last marking. Get some more paint. And like I said, a pointy feather, I'm all right. A pointy brush that holds its point will really help. Now this comes right up into there and it stops. You're not doing the feather in front of it. It's just this row of 4 coming down. Now I'm going to step in a little bit more from the end of that feather. This is the next one below that. Charging up my brush again, because so much comes off and then you got to recharge your brush. There's another one. Now notice it's staggering, so they're not in line with each other. And then I get one more right here. I'm just keeping the space as equal as I can. However it works out, as it falls on here is just the same at the end. The end, I come in just so much. I mark that out. Then I come up so far and leave some white. Put this one in, running out of paint. So I charge my brush up again. Okay. Then I come up and do another one. So this one here doesn't seem to want to take as well. I'll let that dry and then come back and hit it again. And then I got the last of the ones here. And this will be right in here. Hope you're seeing this well. Do the same width and the same width and the same width with the white. Then maybe just a little one right here, just sticking out. Okay, let me go back, see if I can brighten these up a little bit, a little darker. There. Going to come back on this other one back here, here, and here. Okay, so now we got all of this grouping coming down. There was 4 straight down, and then 4 straight down this way. Now we're going to go in and capture these up here, and I got to go back and look at my original, which is this guy here, and see how I did that on this one. Same deal, but they're not as wide. Okay, so follow me on this one. Charging my brush up. Okay, I'm coming back. We got a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, and what we're going to do is we're coming up about the same distance we did down here on these, and I'm making these thinner coming straight across. Okay, like that. Then I'm coming up 1 more, and then I'm coming up 1 more. Okay, just like that. Now I'll charge my brush up. Going to do that for the next feather. Next feather. And the next feather. Okay. Then I'll charge my brush up again. And I'm going to come in here. Same distance. These are a little thinner than the other ones that were there. And then I have 1 more down here. There. Okay. So that gets you that marking. Now, let me check again so I'll make sure I do this correctly. Yep. We're going to do similar markings. Getting that paint going in there. I got these 1, 2, 3 in a row here. So I'm going to come in and I'm making that C going right across that little arc right there. Then I'm going to do another one and another one. Hope you could see that. I'm going to try to darken them just a little bit. I'm going to go over that. Again, it's just a point. You don't want to, you can't really go in with the full brush. You're just touching it. And like I said, you need a real fine point to hold up. Now I'm going to, here's the next feather down. I'm going to start the distance up from the end. I wish I had gotten this mix perfect, but I think I added just a little too much water. It's biting me a little bit, but you'll get it. There. And then there's one more feather down here. So I'll get that, that, and that. Okay, so there's that. Now, I believe for the wings, we're doing similar, but not all of them. I'm going to explain that in a minute here. We're going to be barring these, but we're going to come back, and I'll show you. I'm going to charge my brush up again. And try not to put your finger on any of this. And see, if this comes up light, you can always come back. Like right now, I'm going to get this and go over it one more time. I hope I'm in the picture here so you can see what I'm doing here. So, and I darken that a little bit. If it needs it, we just come back. But I don't want it like really jumping, okay? So now I'm going to start these here feathers, which is your primary. I'm going to come out here. And these are going to be as big as these up here. And you're arcing. Okay, I'm a distance up from the tail. And we're starting from the tail end of the feather. And then you work your way up. Now this is going to come in here. It's up further. Okay. Now see, I didn't leave enough space in there. So I'm going to show you, once that dries, I'm going to come in there and get some white paint and just go in between the two black markings and bring it back to where it should be. Okay, right now, this marking and this are too close. Okay, they need that separation. So let me go to the next one and I'll worry about that. And there's a way of correcting these if you don't get it in the right spot. So I'm coming around here. This is the next feather down. Okay. Then I come up about the same spacing from here to here. Then I do the next one. And if you're a little off, don't worry about it. You know, it's not too critical, but it takes a little steadiness to get this. And on this one, it staggers a little bit more forward. This will go this way. Notice how it's arcing downward here, like this. Now I'm starting to lose some paint, so go back in, and I'm going to touch that up a little bit, touch this up, and then I could sneak a little one in, right in there, okay? Now I'm going to keep on doing that. Get some paint, take the excess off, so I don't have so much water in there and more paint. And I'm going to come down to the next one, which now starts here. Hope you can see this well. Then here. Then here. And this takes a little patience and trial and error too. And if you really screw up, which happens sometimes, and I've done that. It's not original to screw up. I've done it. You can always come back and paint this white again. Okay? So, and because I'm not loading this up so much with paint, this dries pretty fast. But it's smart not to get your fingers on it So I do one side at a time. And that's what I'm trying to show you here. I'm sneaking one more in there. Now, if I remember correctly, let's see how this thing goes here. Yeah. I'm going to get a little more broader when I come down. Now, I have 3 feathers left on the bottom here. So what I'm going to do there is the same deal. I'm going to start here. And I'm going to come in. And I'm going to get just a hair wider than what I've been doing. And then I'll do another one. Whoop, got too close there, but we'll take care of that. I'll show you how to do that. Yeah, I'm sort of messing that row up, so we'll come back to that. I'm going to show you some fixes here. So I'm going to do the next feather down. Coming in here. This gets a little tedious, but it really makes this bird stand out. These are like the true markings. And like I said, these are a little wider on the markings than the other ones, a little bigger. These are the more showier ones. I'm starting to run out of paint again. And if you notice, I'm not flooding this with paint. I'm really trying to keep this in control. Okay. You can see I'm getting bigger on the last 3 here. And I come in the same distance from the end. And they start looking staggered, but I'm keeping the same spacing on each feather. I'm not concerning myself with what's happening above me. I could probably just put a little curly Q in there for that one. So there's the markings for that, and I hope you can see that well. Now, I made a couple of blunders in here, and one of them is that, let's see if I can find it. I think this one here, no, it wasn't that one. Oh, it was here. These are too close to each other. Excuse me. So I'm going to clean my brush out real good, and I'm going to go on the paper towel, make sure I get all the black out so that when you're running it across the paper towel here, it doesn't show anything. Now I'm going to come in here, stir up some of this white paint, and again, I'm taking most of the water out, and I'm going to come in to where I got too close, and I'm just going to come in here and add a little white, and I can get it right back where I need it. Same way here. See another spot I did. So I can put that right in there, and I can correct my mistake by just whiting it out a little bit, okay? So if you screw up, you can always come back, get a little bit of white, and just touch it up in there, okay? And get the black where it may be. I'm going around here just looking, and I'll correct things that I may have gotten a little wider on. and I can bring it right back just that fast, okay? Then let that dry. Now, you're going to do this exactly on this side, same spacing. You're coming from the end up, and you're getting that arc, okay, with that width, okay? And you're starting from the top feather down, and then you're going this way. These are a little in tighter and a little smaller. These are even smaller. And then these are about the same of these, and as you come down, you're getting larger and larger in the spacing. Now, some of this, I could have been a little more spacier. So I could come in like this, and I hope you can see this again because I tend to drift, and add my white in there, okay? And like I said, if you ever really screw up, you can white the whole thing out and start over again. So don't feel as though you're locked in to what you have, okay? Now, what I want to do now is I want to show you how to do the tail feather, okay? We're back now, we're going back to black again. So on this, we are going to start, we're going to get the black, and I'm going to start, maybe, we'll say maybe 1/8 of an inch in. And I'm going to start on the top feather, and I'm going to fan this out like this. I hope you can see this. Like so, and it's a little wider. And then I'm going to fan my way down on each one. I'm starting to lose paint fast. So you can make this a little denser, the painting. And what's going to happen is these get longer, like so. It's like an arc going straight across. And I'm going to go to this side. Just like I did on the other side. And it keeps on stepping down. And it keeps about the same distance. Okay, I'm going to come down here and get that. Now that's the first one. And you charge your brush up again. And in this case, you're going to step down, maybe about 3/16 down. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to come across here. You're keeping that spacing away from the last time on the row before that. And you're trying to break up the ends so that they don't look so uniform, but at the same time, it is like a row going across there. Doesn't have to be so perfectly even. You don't want to do one of these. You're sort of like dabbing and moving. And if it's irregular on the bottom, that even makes it more interesting because it looks feathery. Okay. So, I'm going to go that way. And then, let's see. I'm going to come down one more here. And I'm going to fan this down this way. Okay. And then fan it this way. And it's like almost 1/4 of an inch long, I guess, if you're looking for some length or something like that. Give or take a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to try to squeeze one more in at the bottom here. I'm going to come down about here, right here. And I'm going to fan this down right to the edge here. Like so. And then down this way. Okay. About the same, and there you go. Let me just touch this up a little bit more. That's the markings on the top, okay? So I hope you can see that well. Now, notice I got my hands on here and nothing's moving, so thank God for that, but I don't want to do it on the top. I just touched this here, so I will go back and touch that up. Keep your fingers off of what you just painted. Now, on the back side, we're doing the same thing. Now, make sure you don't put your fingers into the paint. That's just what I was doing a second ago. So I'm going to start in the middle here, about a 16th down, not a 16th, 3/16 down, and I'm marking this way, and then I'm marking this way. Okay, and they're about, like I said, 1/4 of an inch wide. I mean, in length, excuse me. Then I'm going to come down about here, and I'm marking that out this way. And then I'm going to mark this out over on this side. And I'm trying to keep the same flow that I had up here, down here. Okay. And then I'll get a little bit more. And it looks like we'll get about 3 bars in here. One across. And I bring that across here. So that should take care of the back. Okay. All right. Now, we'll get that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to do this and this and this and do all that wing. And then on the next video, what I'm going to do is show you some more markings, because I want to keep this in a time frame. So if you're starting this effort, you may want to watch this video and then the next one afterwards, because we're going to mark some more up in here. Well, I should say up in this area. And we're going to go and give it like an eyebrow through here, and I'll show you how to do that on the next video. But for time effort, I want to try to get just so much in. The other thing I just noticed too, I didn't follow through all the way to the end here. So I just extend that down a little bit, and that down a little bit. But that's what you want to try to achieve. And you can see the darkness of it. It's not real dark, but we will enhance some of this anyway, and I'll show you how to do that once we get going here. Because this is, it comes together pretty fast once we get the markings on. And I just want you to finish this side up. Exact same deal. You're coming up so far, and you're doing all these markings, okay? No confusion there, but you definitely need a brush that maintains a point, okay? And I couldn't stress that anymore. And if you need something like that, I have them available. And but you can get these at an art store and stuff like that. Just make sure you're not getting like a squirrel type where once you bend the brush, it stays there. This thing is still holding its point. In as much as I push down on it, it stays together. And this is a real good brush. And you would need something like that. Or an inexpensive brush you can do it with too, but you just gotta take your time. Okay, these synthetic brushes that are out there still work out very well, even with the point and everything else. Okay, so I hope you got something out of this one. I will take you on the journey on the next video of still marking this out, and then we'll probably get into some washes and everything else. So we're getting close of really starting to put this together. And then there are other markings, like here's more markings that have to happen in the rump area, and you have some up in this area as well of the breast. So I will show you all that, and then there's highlights that have to go in here and everything else. So we're on our way. So hope you got something out of it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you can subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that too. That's very helpful on my part. So see you on the next video, and we will complete this. And if you had mixed the paints and you're doing this, you could check this video out, and then I would refer to the next one, and that will get most of the markings done that you need to do on here. And I just didn't want to incorporate it into one video at the moment here. Okay, so we'll see you on the next video, and I'll see you then. Bye now.